Your apartment looks perfect at 3 p.m. and somehow wrong by 8. That's not your design failing. That's your lighting failing your design. This is the lighting manifesto, the part of small apartment design almost nobody gets right, and the easiest one to actually fix. Almost every apartment comes with the same default lighting plan already built in. One fixture in the center of the ceiling, throwing light straight down. It's the lighting equivalent of a single harsh assumption made by whoever built the apartment, long before anyone decided what the room should actually feel like. A single overhead source creates flat, even light with none of the depth or warmth that makes a room feel considered. It casts shadows downward and outward in a way no other light source in nature or design ever does. Think of how unflattering a flashlight held under someone's chin looks, and understand that a centered ceiling fixture is doing a milder version of exactly that to your entire room. Every object in the space gets lit the same generic way, regardless of what that object actually needs. This single fixture is also, almost always, the first thing anyone turns on after dark without thinking about it, which means the worst possible lighting decision in the apartment is usually the default one, activated automatically the moment the sun goes down. Light isn't just bright or dim. It has a color, measured on a scale most people never think about until it's already wrong. Cool white light, anywhere above roughly 4,000 Kelvin, reads as clinical and institutional, the kind of light found in office buildings and hospital corridors. Warm light, closer to 2,700 Kelvin, reads as candlelight, sunset, the kind of glow the human body has associated with rest and safety for its entire evolutionary history. Many apartments end up with cool white bulbs by accident, not by decision, because that's what came pre-installed, or what was cheapest at the hardware store, or what seemed brightest and therefore best. The room can have flawless furniture, perfect proportion, every principle from every other video on this channel applied correctly, and still feel wrong the moment the sun sets, because the actual color of the light contradicts everything else the room is trying to say. This is frequently the single fastest, cheapest fix available to anyone watching this video. Swapping a cool white bulb for a warm one costs less than almost anything else discussed on this channel, and the difference is often immediate and dramatic. The instinct when a room feels dark is to add more light or brighter bulbs. The actual problem is usually height, not quantity. Light sources positioned at ceiling level or high on a wall create a completely different emotional register than light sources positioned near seated eye level, and no amount of added brightness from above fixes what the wrong height is doing. A table lamp with its light source roughly level with a seated person's head produces the kind of warm, human-scaled glow that makes a room feel occupied and calm. The same lumens coming from 6 feet above, aimed downward, produces something closer to surveillance lighting. This is why a dimly lit room with 2 or 3 well-placed table lamps often feels warmer and more resolved than a brightly lit room relying entirely on overhead sources. The height of the light matters more than the total amount of it. This principle explains why hotel lobbies, restaurants, and other spaces professionally designed to feel comfortable at night almost never rely on ceiling lighting alone. The good ones are lit almost entirely from waist height or below, and apartments can borrow this exact logic for a fraction of the cost. A room lit by one source, no matter how good that source is, will always feel one-dimensional. Professionally lit spaces, and the apartments this channel has broken down that actually feel resolved after dark, rely on layering. Multiple light sources at different heights and intensities working together, rather than one fixture trying to do the entire room's job alone. The layering rule is simple. Ambient light for general visibility, task light for specific functions like reading or cooking, and accent light for warmth and visual interest, usually the dimmest of the three. A room with all three layers present feels considered and complete even at low overall brightness, because the eye reads variation in light level as intentional rather than accidental. Most apartments have ambient light covered by default through whatever overhead fixture came installed and nothing else. Adding just one additional layer, a single warm accent lamp in a corner that currently has none, is often enough to shift an entire room from flat to layered without touching the ambient source at all. There's a common instinct to eliminate every shadow in a room, treating darkness anywhere as a problem to be solved with more light. This instinct produces exactly the flat, institutional feeling this entire manifesto is arguing against. Shadow isn't the failure state of lighting. It's one of the primary tools that makes lighting feel intentional rather than merely functional. A room with some areas dimmer than others reads as designed, with a clear hierarchy the eye can follow, brightest near where activity happens, dimmer in the corners that don't need attention. A room lit uniformly bright in every corner, with no shadow anywhere, reads as an office regardless of how nice the furniture is. The absence of shadow removes the very quality that makes evening light feel different from daylight in the first place. This is worth sitting with directly, because it contradicts the instinct most people have when a room feels wrong after dark. The fix usually isn't adding light to the dim corners. It's often leaving those corners dim on purpose, while making the layering and color temperature of the light that does exist actually correct. The single most useful lighting decision available to almost anyone, and it isn't a dimmer switch, is simply this. Never turn on the overhead light first. Make the lamps the default, and treat the ceiling fixture as a backup for the rare moment genuinely bright. Even light is actually needed, like deep cleaning or searching for something dropped on the floor. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but it works because it removes the default failure mode entirely. If the overhead light is never the first thing activated, the room never defaults into the flat, cold state that this entire manifesto has been describing. The lamps, positioned correctly and warm in color temperature, become the room's actual lighting plan, rather than an afterthought layered weakly on top of a fixture that was already doing the wrong job. This is a habit change, not a purchase, which makes it the cheapest and fastest principle in this entire video to actually apply. It requires nothing except deciding, starting tonight, which switch gets flipped first. None of the principles in this manifesto require an expensive fixture or a design-forward lamp brand. A basic ceramic lamp with a warm bulb, positioned at the right height, in the right corner, following the layering rule, will outperform a genuinely expensive designer fixture mounted on the ceiling in the wrong color temperature every single time. This matters because lighting is one of the few areas in small apartment design where the principle matters enormously more than the budget behind it. A beautifully designed room furnished with real thought and then lit carelessly will still feel wrong after dark, while a modestly furnished room lit according to these principles will often feel warmer and more resolved than spaces that cost significantly more to put together. This is, in a sense, the most encouraging section in the entire manifesto, because it means fixing a cold-feeling apartment after dark is rarely a budget problem. It's almost always a principle problem, and principles are free to apply once you know what they are. Every principle in this manifesto can be tested in the next 10 minutes, in the exact apartment you're sitting in right now. Turn off every light in the room. Turn on only the overhead fixture, if there is one, and notice how the room feels. Then turn that off, and turn on only your lamps instead, if you have any. Notice the difference in warmth, in shadow, and how the room reads. Count how many of your light sources are positioned above eye level versus at or below it. Check the color temperature of your bulbs, usually printed somewhere on the packaging or visible on the bulb itself. None of this requires new purchases to diagnose. It only requires walking around your own apartment tonight with these 7 principles in mind and noticing, for the first time, exactly which ones your space is currently violating. This audit is also the fastest way to understand why some previous apartment or hotel room felt effortlessly warm the moment you walked in after dark, while your own space has never quite managed that same feeling. It was never mysterious. It was always one or two of these principles, quietly working in the background of every room that ever got this right. One overhead light. The wrong color temperature. No layering, no shadow, no plan for after dark. None of it requires a renovation. It requires a switch, a bulb, and a lamp moved a few feet to the left. Subscribe for more design breakdowns, and turn off that overhead light tonight.